All right, Gaurav Dange. Hey, my friend, it's been a while since we've last spoke. It's been over a year, I believe.
Close to a year, close to a year. Yes,
Close to 2 years. Wow, time flies, eh? Wow.
it
Well,
does.
I appreciate your time, respect your time for coming. I'm very excited to hear your story and catch up. So this is n- I would say polished podcast like everybody else does. Seem to be, they have a podcast out there. This is welcome to the Broker Success Stories, and the reason why I brought you back, Gaurav, is I want to hear how things are going for you. What has changed over the years, and what's your experience been since you're taking the workshop, right? It's been a while. So
It has
people
been.
already know about me. Hey, let's tell them a little bit about Graph. How
For
did you
sure,
become
for
broker?
sure.
What where your background was from?
Sure, sure. So, my background is really from tech. So I'm like a techie by background, by education.
Yeah,
I've been in mortgage world for I'd say about 5 years, maybe a little more, five to
yeah,
6 years, maybe, right? Initially, I think it's been a very standard progression for me, just like a lot of people are like, hey, we start with residential, and then as you start saturating your market, exactly. Then you're like, at some point, you're like, okay, something more needs to be done to grow, right? And
you,
then
yeah,
you look for alternatives, and that's when, after spending about 3 years, 3 to 4 years in on the residential side, like, okay, I think commercial is the way to go. I obviously heard, quite a bit about yourself across different forums, also from, some other industry leaders. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's chat with Sua and see if he can, if what he says makes sense to a residential broker, right? Because
yeah.
uh,
Point you in the right direction at least.
exactly. And then, once we had a couple of conversations, I think what you said sort of made sense. And, like directionally as well, right? Because
Mhm.
for a lot of like from, at least I'll speak for myself, that a lot of, for me, it was like, dude, like I'm hitting a cap. I consider myself not the smartest cookie out there. So like, okay, dude, like I need to do something about where I'm at and like, go to the next level. And
Yeah,
that's when, like, when I spoke to you, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Let's like,
yeah,
let this give a go. And it's been
yeah.
a great journey since then.
Why banging yourself against a wall, right? Why hitting yourself against a wall over and over again and not getting different results, right?
Correct. And also, it's part of it is also the fact that the kind of people you're around, right? So, like, I'm always around like residential brokers, right?
Mm,
Residential brokers, private lenders. I'm like, okay, that's so for you, that's like literally the world constructed in your mind, right? Like, hey,
yeah,
residential, sure, duplex, triplex, fourplex, whatever. But once you start speaking to other people outside of like those walls, you're like, bro. There's like lot of different things happening in the world that you're not aware of. Once
yeah,
you start getting
yeah,
aware of, you understand what the opportunities are. And I
yeah.
think that's essentially when I spoke to you. I'm like, okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
And
sometimes you hear
then
stories say,
yeah,
"What the heck? What the fuck?"
yeah,
And
yeah,
and
yeah.
then you realize, hey, what I've been told on the residential side, there's no way I could do what these people bring into me, right? So it's like there has to be a reason or rhyme why people are coming to me and tell me give me all these stories, right? So
Yes, and not only that, right? Because also, what really amused me was uh, the like you need a little more skill to put together a commercial deal than say a
definitely,
residential deal, right?
yeah,
I mean, you
not
need
what
to
you learn
think
as
a
a
little more.
residential broker.
Yeah. You need to think a little more, right? You need to understand things a little better. Um, so it was, I mean, that part also was something that excited me. Like, oh yeah, like like finally you need to put in some effort, some a different sort of effort. Again, not
Yeah,
not
yeah,
not to
yeah,
say
yeah.
that
I get
you
it. I
don't put
get it.
any
I'm
effort
not
on the
saying, yeah,
residential
we're
world.
not putting down residential brokering. It's still challenging,
It
but
is
you're right.
100%, 100%, hundred
Yeah.
percent. But I just prefer the challenge on the commercial side than on the residential side. Let me just put it this way.
Yeah,
That
it
challenge
makes
was
it
more
makes you
exciting.
really have to think. It uses your brain power more. Right? It
A
uses
little
your
more,
ability to think. Yeah.
Correct, correct,
Yeah,
correct.
cool. So when did I know we had a couple discussions before you even dived into commercial financing, that you were asking
Right.
a lot of questions. When was the aha moment for you? You said, you know what, I'm gonna have to give this a try. Like this has to work,
Uh,
or this has to change, right? Or I have to change, right? When what
Correct.
happened?
I think the first conversation that I had with you was I think I was traveling. I was back home in India, so I was weird time zones I was speaking to you about with. Uh, so I remember you mentioned something on the lines of that.
Were
Hey,
you were
like
you back in India going to the wedding or something like that? Was that you?
not
Oh,
not wedding, but I was in India. Not wedding, but I was in India at that point. I was in India at that point.
partying, a lot of partying. I know that it's Indians love to do that.
So yeah. We discussed, right, like why you are hitting a cap right now, right? And like what are the opportunities out there other
Yeah.
than just doing residential? Because like I said earlier, I'm not the smartest cookie, but I like good thing I think for me is like once I see a direction, I have this
Mm.
ability to like, just put my head down and just work towards it, right? And I think you made a few suggestions on that call as to hey, you could like niche down, so you could do only apartment building, or you could do like
Yeah.
small businesses, or
Yeah.
bunch of things. I'm
Pick
like,
one.
okay, that just pick one and just stick to your lane. Don't be excited by other opportunities, and at some point in future, you will be able to be the king
Do
of
do both.
that niche. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So so I think that for me was like, okay, I mean, I've learned some skills for residential, right?
Yep.
I'm sure I have enough contacts that I can refer out that business, given that uh, I I want my focus to be on a particular niche, like small businesses, for instance.
Yep. Yep.
And at that point, I was like, okay, let's just take this plan and stick to it for few years
Yeah.
and see how it
You
plays out.
basically you basically saw the opportunity. I think when I was discussing that, there's only so many more hours in a week Graph can really hit. I mean, how much more business can I get? I'm already
For sure,
overworked,
for sure, for
right?
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I guess for you is like in our community, we're a very similar community. Vietnamese community is like very
true.
business oriented. It's like small business. Every family have a business,
Yeah,
literally,
yeah.
right? So it's like, yeah, but there's nobody else around helping our people, right? Nobody helping around the
Correct,
Vietnamese people. Nobody helping around the Indian community. Is like it's all residential mostly. Right?
correct. And also, excuse me, to add to your point, right? Another triggering thing for me was that. Um, Before we spoke, right, I had my another different business that we had bought about 2.5 years ago, and
Mm.
then we had to shut it down for some reasons. But when we were shutting down, I found out that hey, it's you have to pay back the whole loan, and I was like, bro, like no one told me about the CSBFL thing. I was not aware, like made by aware by the guy who helped me finance that. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, like I should have known better, but
yeah,
now, okay, sure, I'm burnt right now. But
yeah,
for me, it's like, okay, I should know better so I can, help other people. I'm burnt.
yep,
I want to make
yep.
sure that, other
Mm.
people shouldn't get burnt by same thing.
No,
Because
like,
eventually, a lot of people are like, hey, I just help you. They take their cut, they're gone, and now you're stuck with the consequences of, whatever
yeah,
has happened. So
yeah.
that was another trigger point for me. I was like, okay, this needs to happen.
Yeah, there's really you're right. There's really nobody out there really helping our community, and it's funny. I always tell this story about when I first started too. Is like I was known as the salon guy, as like nail
I
salon,
remember that
hair
story. Yeah,
salon.
yeah.
It's like to the point where I help out so many nail salon owners to open up more and more branch outlet, and
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
I don't want to smell the nail polish anymore. It just drives me
anymore.
crazy. So that's just it just goes to show that even though I know nothing about nail salon, I'm
Right,
able to help out hundreds of nail salon owners, right?
right,
Literally.
right, right.
Right? So there's such a big need for people in our community that there's not enough of us out there. There's lots of residential guys, but there's nobody out there helping this business owners, right? It's kind of sad because our economy is based on small business enterprises, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Right. I think most employers across Canada I can unequivocally say more people, business owners, not large size, not medium size, but small business like yourself, myself, we hire people, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's the biggest part of employers across Canada, whether we like to admit that or not. It's like without small businesses, without even the small franchise, Subway owner, pizza restaurant, grocery store, convenience
Sure. Yeah.
store,
Yeah.
like there's thousands across Canada, right?
For
When
sure.
when when I think in the recent time, like when 7-Eleven closes down, you know how many people they're gonna lose?
Yeah, quite a
Not
lot.
not
Quite a
just
good.
yeah, not just direct worker, but the delivery guy, supplies guy, the transport guy. Like
Yeah.
it affects many people, right?
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Right. So it's been what, a little bit over a year and a half, 2 years. So you must have got some pretty crazy stories to tell us, right? That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. 2 years, really? I have
yeah,
I would be shocked if it was 2 years. Like time flies.
time goes by
Uh,
fast. Time goes by fast when you're having fun now, right?
yeah. 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 I mean, some great stories that ended well. Some
Sure.
stories, that did not really end well. But things out of control. But uh, yeah, it's been like fairly fulfilling journey so far because we've helped a few guys who hey, we went to the bank directly, but they said no.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, just like let's talk, right? Like, why
yeah.
did they say no, or why? A classic example. I think you brought up a grocery store a moment ago. So
Mm.
we had this grocery store guy come in. He's like, bro, I need to open a grocery store in Ottawa region, and we'll do some like a small restaurant at the back of the grocery, so something like a Costco, right?
Okay,
For
cool.
any grocery, right? So we'll have like small. Okay, great, sure. So what happened? Like, yeah, we went to RBC. They're like 60% loan to value, loan to cost.
Yeah.
We could do. Uh, I think he went to Scotia. They're like, yeah, about 60%. That's as most we can do. Like, okay,
Mm.
let's look at your financials. Look at the projections, what you got, what you didn't get. Um, I think we went in, we made a few, suggested changes based on what his projections were, and basically just because the thing was that the big red flag on the first page of his business plan was he was like, it's a restaurant. I'm like, bro,
Ah,
restaurant like
yeah,
60%, 65%, you're done, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Don't.
yeah.
So we went ahead, we repositioned him a bit,
Ah,
and we were able to get him, about like 85% loan to cost for his
nice, nice.
startup business.
Yeah.
We got it done from one of our lending partners, and it was great. It was great, and because like I said, he went through not really rejection, but more like not acceptable terms were provided by other banks, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so I think the the value that we added were here by repositioning him
That's
as
right.
like like A versus B, just
Yep.
to make sure that because once the bank sees it's a restaurant, it's like done. It's
Yeah.
it's
They
it's
have
crazy
they have
difficult at
this
that.
they have the failure rate, the very high failure rate for restaurant
e-
owners, operator. Yeah.
exactly. So it was awesome. He was happy. I was happy. We were able to get that sort of a deal across the line. Again, I wouldn't call it like really difficult deal, but I
Mm.
would definitely
Challenging.
place it. Yeah, challenging, and as well as if for someone who has spoken to a bunch of like underwriters over a period of time as to what they like, what they don't like, then you
Yeah.
sort of know how to position
Yes.
yourself correctly. I
Positioning.
think I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So
I think
yeah,
that's
there are a
the
few other
that
stories like that.
yeah, I think that is the one key difference is why a lot of the residential mortgage broker try and fail is because they don't have that experience yet, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
they don't have the understanding of what is it that the lender is looking at. right? They can see
Yeah.
from a strata, condo versus a townhouse. But when it comes to like, okay, this guy's opening a restaurant, convenience store slash convenience store, boom. Why is it every lender stopping at 60% or 65? There has to be a reason, right? And they don't know
Yeah.
what that reason is. But Gaurav, you and I, we know. It comes with experience, and it comes with the training that we had in the work. We talk about in the workshop, and that's what they're missing out, is the missing link about what is the bank looking at,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
have that training on the residential side, so that's the
Correct.
biggest
Correct.
challenge. Yeah.
Correct. I think even like, as a part of training where we, like reading financials, understanding financials, what's, EBITDA, those sort of things. I
Yeah.
mean, if I'm speaking to like, a small business guy in a bank and I'm saying, hey, he's making profit of this much, and he tells me what is EBITDA and I don't know what that is, like, you end up looking like a clown essentially. So
Yeah.
it's important that I think you use something like you should speak the language,
That's
essentially, right?
correct. I agree. Yeah. You need to speak the language, otherwise they don't take you seriously. And
For
and
sure.
and and I think that's a first impression is everything when it comes to commercial account manager and commercial lenders, right? They're like,
Yes.
they're gonna send me deals says, how much can you get me? It's like, you should already know. You have to request the loan amount. You just can't ask me how much can you get me. Right? That's not
Yeah.
mortgage brokering, right? So tell us about some of those crazy deal where you learned a lesson, you learned something new, all those crazy deals come across you, and you the WTF? What the fuck is this?
Yeah. Let me think. I think like one of the biggest lessons I have learned is like do not trust the client till you have like verified, till you have verified things with your own
Yes,
eyes.
yes,
You
yeah,
verified the
yeah,
things with your own eyes. Because
yeah.
I remember we had a deal where the guy came to us and like, hey, um, you know, I need some working capital, but 250,000, $300,000 something. Okay, sure. Like send over your financials. Okay, financials check out. Great. Do you have any other debt? Okay, no problem. We check that out. Yeah. Do you think your credit is good? Yeah, yeah, yeah. My credit is great. Okay, no problem. Okay, are you sure? Yeah, 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 sure. Okay, cool. We send in the app. Like this was like one of my initial, few deals. Like, yeah, 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 sure. I'll send it to the lender. No problem. We send it over, and once those guys pull the credit, it's like, like below 600. Like, I got it below 600, or like, we don't like it. I'm like, "Hey, like you
What
told me it was
happened?
great." He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like I checked here, I checked there. I mean, sure, he made some stories, and at that point, I was like, yeah, I should have asked you to show me what do you mean by good, right? So
Yes.
yeah, there have been like few horror stories like this where we've learned a few lessons,
Yep.
right? But that being said, I think as long as I'm learning a few lessons out of it, it
Yep.
is time well spent, right? It's sort
Yeah.
of time well
I
spent.
I'm a big believer of that too. It's like, when new brokers enroll in the workshop, I always start off the bat. I say, look, there's no such thing as stupid question, right? As long as you
You don't
ask
ask it
it,
again. Yeah,
right?
you don't ask it a
Because if
second
you
time.
ask the repeat the same question again, then it becomes a stupid question because you haven't learned the first time.
I I couldn't agree more. So yeah, like I said, there have been stories like that where we've done a lot of work, but eventually it didn't pay off for like reasons which we
Yeah.
should have caught earlier in the process. So now,
Mm.
as I've spent like last couple of years doing these things. Now,
Yeah.
like we've tightened the process. Hey, I need to
That's
know
right.
this. I need to know this, and then using some of the templates I believe you had shared in the
The drive.
during the
Yeah.
workshops,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Using them been really helpful. So we are still, I'd say, tuning the process to make
Yeah.
sure we don't waste too much of our time. But
Yeah. Yeah, I call it the SOP, right? The standard operating procedure. In
Yes,
residential mortgage brokering, everybody knows how to do all the steps.
exactly.
Commercial, when it comes to commercial, it's like, well, small business financing isn't owner operated business. Owner operated business isn't financing investment commercial property. It's different. So the SOP
Right.
for each one of them differs a little bit, right? And that
Yes.
takes time. That takes time to adapt and adopt it into your current workflow, right?
Yeah,
So that's
it
good.
does
Yeah. But I think the minute, and yeah, it's just like a learning curve. Like I said, eventually you get to the point where I got it. Now it's about to take off,
take
right?
off. Yes.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So give us a success story. How much have you made? Like how much the biggest ticket that you've made, the biggest one you've made.
So one of the biggest ones, we did, I think earlier this year, early 2025, was uh, a real estate plus business play
Nice.
where
I like
we
those.
were, yeah, it was an auto body shop. We were able to get them about 90% loan to value on the
Woohoo!
purchase, right?
That's awesome. 90
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
auto body.
It, it
Very
was,
good.
yeah,
Very
yeah.
good.
It was a great deal. We were able to finance it through I think it was Scotia, not remember top of my mind, but I believe it was with Scotia, wherein it falls
Oh,
the purchase price, everything like nicely fit under the CSBFL umbrella, everything checked
yep.
out. Obviously, it was like very time consuming. It took us uh 2 months to 2.5 months to close,
Yep.
maybe a little more, approximately. But I think that was one of the bigger deals because obviously, like, we do small businesses.
Yeah.
They focus on
Yep.
small businesses, so
Yep.
that was one of the bigger deals, and also the fact that it was like it involved real estate because just a pure small business versus like a business and real estate, how you differentiate them,
Yeah.
like in
Split.
throughout the
Yep.
entire process, that was again a great learning curve. I believe, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a great deal, I think.
You might as let us know how much you made on that deal. Round number.
Round number, yeah, I made about what? About 35,000 on that.
Not bad.
Just yeah, not bad. I take it.
Hey,
I take
hey,
it.
Gaurav, we like most of us just like 35 grand. It's like think about this. It's like where in employment wise, what job in 2 months do you make 35 grand?
Well, yeah, it's
You know what
not
I
even
mean?
comparable. It's not even
Yeah.
comparable, right? It's not even not even
I was like,
comparable.
well, I'm a first of all, don't put I'm not putting you down or anything like this.
Sure,
It's like,
yeah.
hey, this stuff is not easy. Putting it together
It's
is
not.
not easy. Helping the client doesn't know a clue where to start, right? So you
Yeah,
basically babysit the client from A to Z, and you're the one who's wrapping everything together, making it the underwriter's job so easily that even Scotia would approve it. Scotia is one of the few lenders that I think that are not like too conservative. So when you got 90% with them, I was like, hands down.
yes, they were great because, like I said, real estate was involved, and also the fact
That's
that
right.
it was going to be like an owner operated business.
Yes, they
So
like
that like those few things together made things a little easier for Scotia to bump up their loan to value.
I think
Uh,
it's also your relationship with the commercial account manager, Gaurav, because
oh, for sure.
I know for one, my Scotia commercial account manager were not that great over the years, and I have preference. Everybody has preference. Like some of my colleagues love CIBC. I hated CIBC because I used to work from them, right?
You used to work there.
Some love BMO. I'm like, oh, I have a love and hate relationship with BMO. And Scotia, I was one of those few lenders who were like, oh, I don't really want to. If the client says, can you see if Scotia approved this loan? Because I like Scotia, I deal with them all the time.
Yeah,
I'm reluctant.
sure. Yeah. Yes, yes. Um, Yeah,
So,
because I think the only reason we went to Scotia at that point was because they had a fairly quick turnaround time, and like
mm,
people would think like, hey, 2 months too, like 2 months is long. I mean,
oh
in
yeah, yeah,
in the commercial side of things, it's
that's normal.
I th
Right.
that's normal. That's normal, right? And like we did go to another lender, which I wouldn't name right now, but
Oh yeah,
their terms were a little more stringent, like lower loan to value,
yeah,
few other conditions, which the client didn't eventually like it.
yeah,
So I mean, I think like really the big one was like, hey, 90%, like just so I need to
yeah,
put in like what about 150K, like 100,000 down. I'm like, sure, I'll
yeah,
take it, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
that's very handy because now instead of see, they're thinking like I got to put 25% down because that's how most commercial loans are. But if the strong clients, they will go up like you said, like 85, 90%. And now they're able to set aside that money for the next 6 to 9 months as a reserve, which is like that's amazing, right? For an
correct, correct.
entrepreneur, for a business owner, oh,
Yes,
right,
yes.
that's
Not only
crucial.
that, because yeah, because in this case, in this our deal, I think he wanted to like bring in some more equipment, like pay for
Nice.
do some stuff. And like
Yep.
okay, like like here's the money, here's a line of credit, use it how you want, so that you don't have to like have your locked in equity in there,
Yep.
knock yourself out, go out and make
So,
some money.
so the client will like, well, when you say $35,000, with the client's like, wow, that's a lot of money, Graph. Or was he was like, okay, that's good, that's okay.
Uh, Funny enough, he was like, sure, like yeah, here's the letter of
Yeah,
direction signed. I was
you were more
very
shocked than
like
the
sort of
client was.
apprehensive. Yeah. I was. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay, so no pushback. Okay, cool,
Yeah,
right? Like, okay. That just sort of gave me some confidence that okay, like I'm not
the value is
a
there. That's why
crazy guy.
the value is there. That's the
Yeah.
reason.
Yes.
There's no pushback, right?
Yes. That was the first time when I realized, like, okay, so there are like folks willing to pay for like help to do these
That's
things
yep,
because it's not
yep,
easy.
yep, yep. So that's the difference, man. See, you finally figured it out, right? Confidence boost is not because I'm saying I'm great. Confidence boost comes from I know what I'm doing. Pay me,
Yeah, yeah. I,
right?
I think to add to your point, I think confidence boost comes from when you say pay me and then someone
It's like,
says, sure, yeah, take the money, right?
yeah, the guy said, okay,
Right? Yeah, okay. I'm like, yeah.
yeah. Well, how does that make you feel that day?
No, it was great. Like I said, I was very super apprehensive. I was like, do you like, is he gonna be okay with
Apprehensive.
35? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I'm asking for like a lot of money, man. Because that's like way out of league for a residential person.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
35,000. Okay, I'm like, okay, let's send it. Let's see what happens. In my mind, I was already thinking about, okay, he's gonna negotiate. Here's what I'm gonna
Yes.
tell him. Like, I had
Yeah.
those thoughts in my mind, but
Objections.
the
He's gonna come.
objections, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Objection handling. I'm going through those
Yeah.
discussions in my mind, and he just
Yeah.
signs and sends it back to me without even asking me what, why, where. I'm
That's
like,
right.
huh?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm on the right track here.
Yeah. I think similar experience. One of my mentee when I was doing live training way at the beginning of the my workshop when I was doing for our own franchise office, and I
Right.
brought one of my broker to shadow me, and he was sitting beside me. And when I pull out the agreement, the broker fee agreement mandate to show that it's going to be like $56,000 for the fee. And the client was just quiet, and then he looks at it, reads it over briefly, and then signs it. And when we got back into the car, when we got back into the SUV, when my guy just sitting there says, "Sure, that deathly silence. I thought I was gonna piss in my pants. I thought the client's gonna come out and choke you. It's like 56 grand. Are you crazy? He's like, he said it seemed like forever. Like maybe it's like 1-2 minutes worth of reading because they have to
Sure,
read. They have to read over
of
the
course.
couple pages long of the agreement to make sure that there's nothing funky in there. It's like, yeah. So it goes back to you. It's like, what did I do? I provided not just great service, not just great rates. It's like, no, I provided them what they need. I provided them, and help all the way. I provided them ability to understand what their business is going to look like in the next few
Yeah,
months, and the line of credit's going to help. The high loan to value is going to help so that they can have money to successfully transition their business, right?
right. Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
it's incredible. So I hope you pat yourself on the back. If you haven't, man, you pat yourself on the back, right?
Oh yeah, like both the hands really with this one.
Right? This is amazing, man. And I'm glad you're there for those clients because like everybody say, why are you training your competition? So I said that client that Gaurav helped, I would have never met.
Yeah.
Well, what's competition? There's not competing. It's like helping other people that they need our help. I'm not going to be around. I'm not going to be across Canada. And eventually, I'll probably stop doing what I'm doing and just continue developing. Right? That's
Yeah.
the next elevation. Everybody levels up eventually. So if I'm sure you saw it, the writing on the wall, right? If I don't start leveling up, my client's gonna outgrow my service, outgrow my skill, right?
They would, yeah,
That's
yeah. Eventually
yeah,
they would.
yeah. So hey, it's been fabulous, man. I respect your time. If you got any last minutes or any tips for brokers who are on the fence, maybe they're thinking about I should just leave mortgage brokering and or I should go do something else, or commercial is too tough for me. What message do you have for those people sitting on the fence?
Okay, if you're thinking commercial is too tough for you, I think it is. I'm not going to say it's easy, right? It definitely is not easy, but you need to spend time doing like learning things, learning the ropes,
Yep, yep.
or you just work with or for someone who is or was doing it, right?
Mentor.
Because otherwise, like if you learn something in like 10 years, that could like fast track you to learn those skills in a year's time,
Yeah,
right?
yep, yep.
So do that if you really want to stay in the game, essentially. I would highly suggest, like, at least give it a thought. I'm not saying you do it. I'm sure not everyone wants to do it, but if you're thinking on the lines of what you just said, that yeah, I might just stop being a mortgage agent, or like like, dude, what the
Oh,
fuck's going on? Well,
walk
like,
away
just
walk away
give it
from
a thought.
$35,000 on a deal,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I mean, yeah, if anything, like, think from money perspective, right? Like,
Yep,
genuinely. I'm sure everyone wants to help people, everyone wants to help clients, but
yep,
hey, eventually you're in the game, to make money. And I'm
yep.
fairly certain that, people who, like yourself, who have been in the industry long enough, you know how much money you can make. I was shocked
Well,
when he when he signed the letter of direction for me. So
yeah.
that, like, sort of opened my eyes, because before that I was like, dude, like, Sua is cuckoo, like, what is he talking, like, why would someone give me so
Yeah.
much
What's the
money?
six? What's he talking about? 60 grand, 100 grand check. What the heck is that?
But no,
That's
like, on a
awesome.
serious note, yes, like, give it a shot. At least give it a thought about it. Really, I would
Yeah.
suggest.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise you're just leaving money on the table, right? Gaurav, just like you have, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Think of where that client would be today. Probably not getting a loan. Probably at least not getting 90%, and
yeah.
probably struggling, right?
Agreed. Probably.
Yeah. So hey, it's with people like you who actually saw that there was actually a big need out there for us to make a difference, and at the end of the day is if you're willing to do the work, like you said, learn and put effort into it, you can make 5-6 figures. And I'll guarantee you this, Gaurav. One day in a year or two, you can say, "Man, look at the dinky deal that I made," and I thought it was such a big shot back then. 35 is so small now.
Well, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Oh, it will. It's just a matter of time. It's just like this. Remember, The plane will take off eventually. See, eventually, here's how it works. You go into that circle. That circle only knows other people in that circle.
Right.
And eventually, when they say, well, you know what? Maybe one location is not enough. I need 5, 10.
Right.
So that's going to be 5x, 10x the amount of money they need.
100%.
Right. And you know what? Business owners only know other business owners. They don't know government workers. They don't know RCMP officers. That's all they know. That's all their friends. Right. So you're in the right circle, my friend. So, hey, I appreciate you for sharing your story and the grief, the good and the bad. I love it. and you know, hey, like you said, commercial finance isn't for everybody, but is it worth it?
Oh, 100%. It's like I said, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, I love it. I love to hear your future success story. We'll probably come back around and hear other stories from you. And hey, if you got some more horror stories, we'd love to hear the next time we get together again, Gaurav. But I appreciate
put together a list.
Thanks for coming on to the Success Brokers, Broker Success Stories, and we look forward to seeing you again, my friend. Take care. Have yourself an awesome one. Bye-bye.